To another puzzle. Today we're going to be solving the puzzle Colors in the Night 7 by Villse. Here are our rules for the puzzle. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we're going to place the digits 1 to 9 in every row, column, and 3 by 3 box. We have an additional rule. We have a few. The first is anti-knight, which means that cells separated by a knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digit. Take a look what that looks like in a second. We have our familiar rule, xv, cells separated by a v sum to 5, and cells separated by an x sum to 10. All v's and x's are given, which means if any two cells are not separated by a v, they cannot sum to 5, and if any two cells are not separated by an x, they cannot sum to 10. And then our final rule is crop dots. Cells separated by a black dot have a 1 to 2 ratio. Not all dots are necessarily given. With that, let's take a look at our puzzle. So here's our puzzle, as usual, very little given, no numbers. We have our x's, so these two cells are going to sum to 10. We have our v's, these two cells are going to sum to 5. And again, if any two cells don't have an x or a v between them, these two cannot sum to cannot sum to 5, and these two cannot sum to 10. Our knight's move constraint is that if any two cells, for example, these two are a knight's move in chess apart, they cannot contain the same digit. And then we have our final rule of crop dots. So these two cells are in a 1 to 2 ratio, so they could be 1 and 2, 2 and 4, 4 and 8, or 3 and 6. And with that, I think we can get solving. Those who have seen my puzzles before know that for coloring puzzles that have XV in them, I like to use this little color scheme where I assign, there's 4 ways of making 2 digits sum to 10. Those 4 ways being 1 and 9, 2 and 8, 3 and 7, and 4 and 6. But 5 is not allowed in an X, and also not allowed in a V. For each of those ways of having 2 digits sum to 10, I assign them a kind of color group. So those could be yellow. So for example, this could be like this, and these 2 digits would add up to 10. I don't know what these digits are, but I know that they sum to 10, and because of that, I've given them the same color group. And the color groups are yellow, red, green, and blue. So what's nice about this coloring strategy is you don't need to commit to knowing what specific number goes in each cell, but you can still maintain relationships between cells about who can see what, and whether 2 sets of 10 can be the same or different pairs. There are 2 ways to make a pair of digits sum to 5, 1 and 4, or 2 and 3, and for each of those I also assign a color or a pair of colors. I always assign low digits, so digits between 1 and 4, one of these lighter colors, and then the high digits between 6 and 10 get one of these darker colors. 5 always gets gray. And so for a V pair, a 5, I'll either assign it yellow and light red or pink, which I sometimes call the hot 5, or I'll assign them light green and light blue, which I call the cool 5. You'll see how that works moving forward. With that, I think we can get started. So usually the way I start these is I take a look around and I see where we have a lot of constraints or a lot of interacting constraints. Here we have a bunch of V's, so we know that all of our digits, all of our low digits, are going to be in this little quadrant here. So I'll just decide that this will be the hot 5, and I'll give these the digits or the colors yellow and light red. I don't know what these are. They could be 1 and 4 or 2 and 3. I don't know yet, but I know that these 2 and this sum to 5. So we know that therefore this needs to be our cool 5. Again, we don't know what it is, but it can't be yellow or red. Looking at this V, both cells in this V are seen by the hot 5, the hot V. So we know it must be a cool V, otherwise this cell would have no value, but it can't be the light blue, so we know it's got to be green. Let's see. Looking down, we know that these X's cannot be from the hot digit, so they've got to be cool. We know that each X has a low digit and a high digit, but we don't know which is which, and we don't know which of the cool 5s it is. So I think actually what I might do is pretend that we didn't know which digit this was, and because we know that this needs to be a cool 10, we'll just give it the color blue. And we know that these must also be blue because they are also part of the 10 group. None of these can be hot colored 10s because this would have no value because it's seen by both of the hot low digits. Looking at this x, we know that these two digits need to have the same color, sum to 10. They can't be the hot colors and they can't be blue, so they must be green. Great. What else do we have? I'm looking at these 10s here. We know that they can't contain any of the cool digits because then this would have no low digits because it's seen by both of these. So it must be hot. We don't know which is which. This is maybe not very useful information just yet, but it will help us soon, I am confident. Okay. Thinking about this must be a hot 10, hot X. It can't be cool because of the cool low digits already seen. So it's got to be either light yellow and dark yellow or light red, dark red. It can't be the yellows because there are no way a light yellow could fit in these, so these must be red. So that will be our dark red, and this will be our light red because the cell is seen by our light red here. Okay. So I'm thinking about what some of these 10s can be. Neither of these two can be red because both digits are seen by red digits here. This one can't be green because it's seen by green digits here. I don't know if that's enough information just yet. We know that this is going to be a hot 10 again because it's already seen by those two, so we'll give it, it's either red or yellow. Okay. Moving along, having a little think, a little moment of thought, perhaps. Thinking about where our light reds can go in this box. So these two light reds see all of these cells. This light red also sees that one because of the Knight's move constraint. So one of our light reds need to be in one of these two. And that might be useful. Maybe not yet, but hopefully soon. Thinking about where light blue can go in this box. Can't go in here because it's seen by one of these light blues and can't go in any of these, so it must be here, one of these two. Still don't know which is which yet. That does tell us something about this X. It can't be green because then this cell could have no value. It's already seen by both of these green cells. And it can't be blue because whether this is, if this is light blue, then that would be light blue, which is fine, but this would be dark blue, which would mean it would be next to a light blue with no X, and that would be true regardless of which of these two is light blue. So we know that this cannot be either green or blue. It must be a hot one. Okay. Neither of these cells can be light blue. This one is seen by the light blue up here, and this one is seen by Knight's move by one of these two light blue cells. So if this cell ended up being light blue, obviously this could not also be light blue. But if this cell was light blue, this also could not be light blue because of the Knight's move constraint. So neither of these can be blue. We just said they can't be green and they can't be red, so we know that these are yellow. Amazing, which means these are not yellow. They are red. This dark red sees this cell by knight's move, so it can't be dark red. And these two can no longer be yellow, because if they were, this cell would have no value. Okay, making progress. We know this is a cool 10. I'll just mark that in there. There's a little more restriction than I am revealing or applying right now, but I just want to get things going a little bit. Okay. Thinking about where light blue and light green can go in this box. So we can maybe think about where it can go in this column. Actually would be easier to think about. So neither light blue nor light green can go in either of these cells because they're already seen here. Either of these cells because they're already seen here. So both light blue and light green must come up here, which means that these three cells must be from these three colors. This cannot be light blue or light green, because if it was, it would be next to another light blue or light green, but there's no V between them. So we know it must be pink, light red. This cell is seen by both of these. One of these must contain a light blue, so that cannot be light blue. This light green sees that one. This light blue sees that one, so that can't be light blue, and therefore this must be. This light blue is seeing both of these by knight's move. Again, if this was light blue, well, I guess it's pretty straightforward. This sees that by regular Sudoku, and this sees that because it's a knight's move apart, so neither of these can be light blue, which means they can't be dark blue, therefore it's green. This light green is seeing both of these two cells by knight's move, so they can't be light green, and therefore must be dark. This dark green is seeing that one. And now this light green is seeing that. Making some great progress. Thinking about where light blue can go in this box. Can't go in either of these two cells, so it must be here. And therefore thinking about where light blue can go in this row. Can't be in either of these two cells, and it can't be in that one either, so it must be here. Thinking about where light blue can go in this box, can't be in any of these because it's seen by that, can't be in any of these because it's seen by that, can't be in this one because it's seen by that by knight's move. Can it be in this one? No, because this cell is seen by both of these, and at least one of these must contain light blue. So this is the only place for light blue to go, and therefore its friend dark blue must accompany it. Where can light green now go in this box? None of these because of these light greens. Not this one because of that light green and knight's move, and therefore in there. Where can dark green go now? Can't go in any of these because it would need its light green friend. That's not available. Can't go in there, and therefore it must be here. Where can dark green go in this box? Not there, or not in this row because of that one. Not here because it would be next to a light green with no X. Not here because it's seen by that one by knight's move, and so this is the only place remaining for it. All right, making some great progress. These two must come from yellow in order to be a pair, and therefore this must be our gray, our lonely little gray with no friend. In this column, the only one remaining is dark blue, and these yellows disambiguate these 10s. They can't be yellow, so they must be red. This light red sees that one, so these must be dark, or these can't be dark anymore. Okay. Thinking about where light yellow can go in this box, can't go in either of these two cells because it's seen by these. Can't go here because it's seen by that one, so it must be there. And where can dark yellow go? Neither of these two because it's seen by the dark yellow here, so that must be the dark yellow. And what are we left with? Dark blue and gray. Dark blue can't go there because it's next to a light blue, but there's no X. Amazing. going through this one pretty quick, I would say. What's left in here? Dark blue and gray. This gray sees that cell by knight's move, so that must be the dark blue, and therefore that's the gray. Up here, we're just missing one of the yellows, don't know which it is. Looking across here, we're just missing light red. And in this box, light red must be in that cell. That's the only place it can be. All right. Thinking about what kind of 10 this could be. Couldn't be blue or red, and also can't be yellow, so it must be green. This cell is seen by the dark green, so that must be our light green. Where can light green go in this box? None of these or that by this and knight's move, so that must be our light green. And I think after entering this light green as its only possibility, we're done with the light greens. Still don't know what light green is. We'll find that out soon. Dark green, this is the only spot it can go in this box. This one sees all of these cells, and then this one sees that one. So this must be the dark green. Thinking about where dark yellow can go in this column. Can't go there because it's next to a light yellow with no X. Can't go there, so it must be there. Looking in this row, we need dark blue, which cannot go there because it's next to a light blue and therefore must be there. And then our final remaining is dark red. Light yellow in this box, can't go there because it's seen. So this must be our gray. Up here, what's remaining? Dark red. In here, dark blue must go there. These two cells are seen. And what are we left with? We are left with dark yellow and gray, not ready to disambiguate just yet. In here, where can yellow go in this box? This cell sees all three of these by either regular Sudoku or knight's move, so this must be our light yellow. And where can dark yellow go? Can't go there because it's for many reasons, but one of them is it's seen by that dark yellow. Can't go here because there's no X, so that must be dark yellow. What's remaining in this row? Light yellow, which obviously can't go there, so it must go there, and dark red. Thinking about dark red in this box, can't go there because it's seen by that, can't go there because it's next to a light red, so that must be our dark red, and this is our final dark red in the puzzle. In this box, where can gray go? Only up here because of that one. So what are we left with? Dark blue, which must go here because this one sees the other two. Dark green, still don't know yet. And dark yellow, which we also don't know yet, so I will not mark those. And in this column, what we still need is gray. And in this box, what we still need is dark yellow. In this box, what we still need is gray. And in this box, maybe we've already looked at it, what we still need is, yes, dark yellow and gray. I guess I will mark those just so we remember. This yellow is seeing that one, so that can't be light yellow. And now this sees that. Oops. And this sees that. So what are we left with in here? Dark yellow and dark green, and still not ready to disambiguate just yet. And what can these three be? We need dark green, dark yellow, and gray. And now it is time to do some deduction. This gray sees these two cells, so this must be the gray. And now this looks like a deadly pattern, but let's see if and how it can be disambiguated. What I'm looking for is either a knight's move, so something distant that is affecting it. Well, what we do know is that this gray sees this one, so that can't be gray, and therefore must be dark yellow. And we are still kind of, we're caught here, thinking about some disambiguation, looking to see if maybe we have a light green that is next to a light blue that I just haven't spotted, and I don't see that, or any blues in a knight's move, relationship. I do not see that, so this is fully ambiguous right now. And then let's look up here. It'd be nice if we had any dark green or dark yellow in a knight's move, but none of them are, and we have no light green or light yellow adjacent. So we still haven't used our crop key dots, and I'm guessing that that will be how we finally resolve this. Okay. First, I'll give these their digits, which is 5. We know our light digits need to come from 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not going to include those. Okay. And our dark digits come from 6, 7, 8, and 9. And we'll use a little logic to see what is allowed to be what. Okay, what immediately strikes me is looking at this crop key dot here. Neither 9 nor 7 can be on a crop key dot ever, because they cannot be in a 1-to-2 ratio with any other digit. So 7 and 9 are out. And then thinking about what this digit would have to be if it were in a crop key dot relationship, this couldn't be a 1, couldn't be a 2, so it would need to be a 3 or 4. So all our light blues, except for these, must be, cannot be 1 or 2, 1 or 2, and therefore all of our light greens cannot be 3 or 4. All of our dark greens, therefore, must be, or cannot be 6s or 7s. Okay. And all of our dark blues, like I said, must be 6s or 7s. They cannot be 8s or 9s. Okay. So what we know is that these cells must come from the digits 3, 4, 6, and 7. We know this cannot be a 7 for the reason we mentioned earlier, which is that 7 can never be on a crop key dot. And we also know that this can't be a 3. If this were a 3, we would need this to be a 6, but that isn't allowed, so this can't be a 6. Okay, so we know that blue is 4 or 6. I'll just mark that. All of our dark blues, therefore, must be 6. And our light blues must be 4. And that, I think, will open everything up for us in just a second. So we know our light greens must be 1 because they need to sum to 5 with the 4, and all of our dark greens must therefore be 9. If our dark greens must be 9, and this cell cannot be 9, it cannot be dark green. So that must be our dark yellow. And in order for these two to be in a 1-to-2 relationship, all of our dark yellows must be 8, which means our light yellows must be 2, and our light reds must be 3. We are closing in. All of our dark reds must be 7, and now all we have to do is disambiguate these. If these two need to be in a 1-to-2 relationship, this must be 6. And that's the puzzle. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.